Y'all ain't heard nothing I said. Hey, y'all. Go ahead and come on in here. If you are ready to be nosy, come on in here. Let's chit chat. It is Tuesday. We are almost through the day. Hopefully, everybody has been having an energetic day, a day where you've been getting shit done, like you just been out here slaying in these streets, just accomplishing your daily goals. Um, that's what I'm hoping that has been happening. If not, if you have been in kind of like a slumber, this is going to be a great live for you so you can take control of your day right now and end it however you want to end it. If you want to end it where you finally just take control and start working right now, then you can do it like that. If you just want to end it where you have some peace and some ease, where you kind of don't have any regrets because you procrastinated all day, you can end it successfully, right? So come on in here, share this out. I have this streaming in a couple of places, so hopefully I'm not directly on Facebook Live. So if you're in here, go ahead and say hello so I can see if your comments are going to pop up on the side. Hey, Mr. Jackson, I see that you're in here. And so we're just kind of just going to talk about just real quickly. I wanted to give you some skills and some resources of feeling stuck in this place of uncertainty. I forgot what I called it in the comments on the title, but I've been seeing clients all day, and their biggest problem, back to work I go, just saying, hey, okay, thanks for stopping by. What I gathered from all of my clients that I saw today was the fear of planning for their future, like fear of planning a family vacation, fear of just traveling, fear of what their job is going to look like, because some of their jobs are and also in a place of uncertainty, and they're getting like all these crazy emails from their bosses. They don't know if they're going to have a job. Their marriages are wacky, because the stress and people just the average person just don't know how to deal with stress. And the reason why is because we were not created to bear so much stress. We were really created to just to be free, like to be these free humans, and to explore life so we could be our best selves. But that could be very difficult sometimes when we have the outside world feeding us with so much fear. I was telling one of my clients earlier, I bet Burlington Coat Factory has like sold out all of their coats because of all of this fear, projection of it's going to be freezing cold here in Texas just in tomorrow or the next day. So you have people already like just having a mindset of being shut in. And maybe even going back to reflect on the last tragedy that we had here when it was ice on the road, and we had a lot of fatalities that just happened on one day. It was really, really bad. And this was last year sometime. So the mind will literally create the narrative, create the story for you. But you really have more control than you possibly will ever imagine. So I don't want y'all to allow this pandemic to rule your life. And I think I'm doing this live more so for me, right? I always know how to speak life. If you've been kind of catching my lives in the past month or so, I talk about learning how to speak life into myself. And so I want y'all to hear how I do it, and how I do it just by showing up and just having a conversation outside of myself, because I'm talking to myself all the time, right? People probably think I'm crazy sometimes. So when you have these conversations out loud, whether you're having them with your family or your friends or on a platform like this, you are really taking control of the emotions that you're harboring inside that may not be what you want to hold on to. And sometimes we don't know how to get rid of them, right? And so we hold on to these emotions. But I am telling you, talking helps to relieve the pressure in the brain. I'm sure it's some science and studies out there. If you just research it, just do some researching, right? So you have to learn how to move with flow, like move in your now and what's happening right now with the pandemic, right? Right now, you can go out. In some places, you can go out with a mask or without a mask. Right now, you're not limited with your movement. So why are we already living in fear of, am I going to be able to take a family vacation in March or in June? Or for my entrepreneurs and my coaches out there, you want to plan an event, you want to plan a workshop, you want to plan a conference, and it's like, I'm too afraid to set the date. Let me tell y'all something. I had a big old hoopla planned in the Philippines. It's been 2 years now. It never could take place because it happened right at the beginning of the pandemic, but it has not left my energy. So now we're planning on having it right here in Dallas, Texas, later this year. So we'll be finalizing some of that and putting that announcements out. And I'm so blessed that our tribe there are planning to come here. They were just like, Master Coach, we just think because the US has a little bit more freedom to move, that we'll just come there. So look at the beauty that happened just in the flow. That's what I'm saying. You just have to live in the flow of the uncertainty, because the uncertainty is only 10% of your life. That's something else that I shared with my clients today. And I'm going to draw it out because, I have an interactive brain and I want y'all to see it. I want y'all to see just how clear it is. Okay, so let me draw it on this piece of paper. I want y'all just to see how clear it is. 10%. Y'all see how little that number is right here? Look how small that number is versus this number. 10% of life is all of the uncertainty that we have no control over. Just 10. And then this 90% is all of your power. It's all of your power. Let me find my light again. It done took my light away. But it's all of your power. It's all of your intelligence. It's all of your past experience where you were resilient and you dug yourself out of it. It's everything that you did to be where you are today, the 90%. But y'all, we be forgetting about the 90%. Why? Because the 10% is so calculated. The people who inject fear, whoever those people are. I'm just like really tired of trying to figure out who those founding fathers are, who want to rule your life. You don't have to allow them to rule your life. You have to learn how to create your flow. Okay. For example, you go to work, you get up and you go to work every day, right? You've been paying your bills, you're paying your light bill, you're paying your water bill, your mortgage, your rent, your cell phone bills, like you're taking care of everything. You're feeling good. And then you fall sick, right? You may fall sick. And maybe you don't have sick time at your job. So now what happens? What happens when you are faced with the uncertainty? Because it has all happened to us at one point or another, or one time of another. Something happens, like our instincts happen of survival, our survival instincts. And immediately we think of the plan, oh my gosh, maybe I need to work some overtime. When I get back, maybe I just need to pick up the phone and call the light company and say, hey, I fell sick and, I'll get paid in 2 weeks, or maybe I just need to communicate and make, take control of the situation or whatever. But instincts happen. So we're going to always be instinctively and flow, even in a pandemic. Even when you feel like, I just don't know what the future holds. Child, you ain't never known what the future holds or held, whichever one of those words. We ain't never known, y'all. So can we get back centered with the power that we have, that 90%, right? So you don't want to start caging in your plans. Don't cage, like don't take all of your plans and put it in this protected box and cover it and just keep it there, because I will tell you that as the world keeps evolving and all of your plans are caged, who knows that the future will serve what you have caged. Right now you are dreaming, you're thinking, you're reflecting, and those things that are in your mind right now wants to be birthed right now. It don't want to wait until the certainty. You can create the certainty because the certainty has already been created, because you're thinking about it, you're seeing it. You just got to push through to make it come to pass. So you got to take control of you, right? And you got to take responsibility of your life. That's just like, that's the end. Like if I didn't want to talk anymore, I could end it there. Take control of you by taking responsibility of your life, and don't fall into the uncertainty trap or the blaming, because a lot of us doing that. So I'm going to talk to the entrepreneurs real quick. A lot of us are really using this. I'm not saying that we're not getting sick, and I'm not saying that tragedy has happened like in the world dealing with this pandemic, but some of us are not living with integrity with this, because it's so easy to get trapped to protect, right? Right? To like feel like, oh my gosh, I thought that I could do this, so now I'm going to use this as an excuse to not to move forward. But what you're doing is creating your future. When we're living in with a lack of integrity, that creates our future, because who we are today is who our future. Like if you wanted to predict your future, just look at your life today. If you really wanted to predict your future, when I told people, like, I know exactly what my future is going to look like, because I know the shit that I'm doing today. How today serves me is going to manifest somewhere in some time that I ain't caught up with it yet, but you're going to catch up with it. So I will tell you, don't fall into the COVID, the pandemic trap. Don't do that to yourself. Okay? Because the uncertainty is always going to be here forever and ever and ever. There's always going to be uncertainty. I just told you 10% of life we can't predict. Who knows? They're saying it's going to be extremely cold. Life may shift. The world may shift, and we may not even experience that. But now Burlington Coat Factory don't even have no coats left. So strategies work, whether they're good strategies or bad strategies. Fear creates movement, right? But how you move needs to be in alignment with your goals and your purpose. So if you are moving outside of alignment with your goals and your purpose, and you're moving this way because of fear, you are now feeding into somebody else's narrative that now has become yours. So now you have no more control. My goodness. Now you have no more control. The reason why I became a certified life coach is because there were freedom. It was freedom in my profession. I was in my PhD for psychology, but there were so many restrictions. Then when I found out about life coaching, I'm like, oh my gosh. At that time, it wasn't $1 billion industry. It was just some million dollar industry. But there was freedom there. And that's what I crave. Then when I walked away from my job, like a crazy lady, I found even more freedom. I was like, my goodness, I have been living in this system. I have been living in this matrix, all of these years. And I didn't know that this was the freedom that I was desiring. Like, I didn't know this is the reason why the depression was there. I didn't know, like, all of this because it was so much control. So why would I want to give up my freedom to fear of the uncertainty? No one even told me this was going to be my life. So had I just like projected, like, and I felt it in my spirit, like, LaKendra, you got to start your own business. LaKendra, this is the path. Drop out of school. Like, I dropped out of my PhD program. Don't you spend another dollar in education, and don't you feel bad about not completing this, because I used to feel bad. Like, what would people think of me? Like, what would my granny say, right? Because granny really pushed education. What would she say if I don't complete this PhD? What would people, child, just think, if I lived in that fear of what would people think, I don't think I would be here right now. So don't fall. Y'all, don't fall for it. And if you have fallen for it, ask for forgiveness. Forgive yourself. Release that badass energy. It's toxic. Release it. And you get back into a flow of excellence, and you start operating and moving with integrity. If you said that you were going to complete something for somebody, business owners, you go and you complete it. You ask for forgiveness. You apologize. Don't make no excuses. Just turn over and get the ass kicking, and then make it right. Make it right. Even in your personal life, if you said that you wanted to get some things done and you're still procrastinating on putting that bookshelf together. You're still procrastinating on cleaning out your closet. You're still procrastinating on taking your kids to the movies because you working. Just turn over, pat that ass, forgive yourself, talk it out with the people that you love, let them know you weren't in your right mind, and get back in your flow. It's really that simple, right? It's really that simple. You may get a little resistance, but at least you're free. That's what freedom does when you're moving in your flow, okay? All things are possible. Remember that. All things are possible because you are possible. They say, like, oh my gosh, just the impossibilities of life. Oh, the impossibilities of life. But you were impossible because you came from a sperm and an egg that produced this beautiful being that you are now. The possibilities of evolution is real if you stay in flow. So I promised you that I was going to just kind of share some coping mantras. You know, they're radical. Y'all know, like, radical, y'all know that's my word, right? Massive and radical, like learning how to live in massive flow and radical flow. You have to just be constantly working on how you speak to yourself. What are you saying to yourself in fear of moving forward, right? So right now, in your own space, and even in a replay, just come on in here and say, hey, I'm catching up on a replay. I want y'all to repeat the following phrases, and I want you to practice radical acceptance of a situation, whatever situation it is, whether it's, you know, I talked to a client last week who was like, I just don't want to go back to work, you know, or trying to lose weight, or I'm afraid to plan this event because, you know, they may shut the world down again, or whatever. Just like I did that to myself. Do you know I did not travel to the Philippines last year because of this shit right here? Like, I was so angry with myself because it was like, when I had looked, you had to do a whole 2-week quarantine. I'm like, I'm not going to do that. That is crazy, right? And I missed out a whole year on just loving on people who love on me, but I'll be there this summer. Okay. So repeat after me. It is what it is. Radical acceptance. These are coping mantras. It is what it is. So it goes. You know, hey, they done ran out of milk at the store. They done ran out of toilet paper at the store. You know what? So it goes. Back in the day, they didn't even have toilet paper. I'm gonna have to use a rag. I can wash my rag out, with some soap and water and keep it moving. You have no power over me. Oh, when that fear is coming and when it's taking over, that's all you got to say. You have no power over me, right? This is how it has to be, right? So the 10%, it really is, right? Like we have no control over the 10%. So you just say, you know what? I don't have control over it's going to be 20 degrees in 2 days and then back 80 degrees the next day. So, hey, this is just how it has to be. And the more you are telling your brain that, the more you are reprogramming yourself to get out of the ruckus, right? It is what it is. Whoever put that there. Okay, great. I can't change the past. That's your next radical acceptance coping mantra. I can't change the past. When the past come creeping in, showing you all the bad you used to do and all of that, you just tell yourself, I can't control the past. I can't predict the future. I can't change the past. You can't. It's done. It's over with. And I can't predict the future. You can't. Stop trying to. Stop wrecking your brain over it, and am I gonna live? When am I gonna die? Like I had a client that asked me that, like, if I just knew when my expiration date was, I could get a lot done. And I told him, you can do that now. What is certain right now? Can you do it right now? Right? Can you be patient and just get in flow? Because him trying to predict his expiration date was driving him crazy. Like I had to refer him to a therapist because he was really going crazy. Okay. The other one is there is no point in getting upset over the past. It's already done and gone. Literally, it is. The memories are still there, but that's 90%. You can control those, right? But it's already done and it's gone. Okay. The next one is I am strong and I will survive the present crisis. Speak life into yourself. That's all you got to do. Just speak life into yourself. I am strong and I will survive the present crisis. I tell myself this every day. This is radical acceptance. I'm strong and I will survive. Okay. The other one is everything in the past has led up to this moment. Instead of living in shame of what has happened, it has led you to this person. And if you're happy with this person, then that's counted all joy because we can't change it, right? So I'm talking about radical acceptance, like not that mediocre shit where we are just like, oh, I'm just going to go and pray. And there's no power behind that. Like you have to do something to like make that prayer have so much energy that without a shadow of a doubt, it is going to come to pass. Just like when I woke up one day and I said, you know what? I don't want to drive no more. I literally said that, it's been 3 years now because I had almost ran into the back of a car because I'm on my phone, because they projecting that anyway, like to not ever put this thing down. It's attached. It's like Velcro. And I was on my phone in the car. Like that was like, why was that so important? And I almost ran into a back of a car and it just scared me lifeless. Like, because I've never been in a wreck before because I am a pretty good driver. Like I'm an exceptional driver. And then I said, LaKendra, how do we break this? This is how I radically think in my mind. LaKendra, how do we break this pattern? How do we break this? What's that other word? Where you do things over and over and over and over again. Habit. How do we break this habit? Right? And it was like, leave your phone at home. Well, that's reckless too, because what if something happened? I was thinking of all these ways that just wasn't working because I needed something that was going to be consistently done. And then the light bulb went off in my head and said, you got to do something radical, LaKendra. And I said, I'm not going to drive. We got all of the, if the people in up north, if they can figure it out, why can't I figure it out? I know I was born privileged, with transportation, but I can figure this out. And it was so uncomfortable. Y'all, it was so freaking uncomfortable. But child, who loves being in the back seat now is me. I love it. And I figured it out. So we're talking about radical acceptance, right? Radical acceptance. The other thing is, I can't predict the future. Did I already say that one? I have no control over other people. Say it out loud. Y'all, please say that one out loud. I have no control over other people because people are going to be people. That's the 10%. You don't have control over choices that your spouse make, your kids make, your boss make, your neighbors make. You have no control over those people. I have no control over others. I have no control over other people. So when you start to feel angry to the point where, it's turning into rage of somebody else's decision, don't take it personal because you don't have control over those people. I don't know why we take it personal. I mean, it was something that I had to learn, why am I taking their suffering personal? The only reason why they're projecting it is because I'm in their proximity. So let me get out of their proximity so they can live in their suffering. And I'll just, wait for them to heal or not. Right? And the last one is, I will not always agree or like it. It's okay. I actually started writing a It's Okay mantra book, journal, and I haven't that's something. You know what? I set a goal for myself. I am going to complete my It's Okay mantra book journal this year. By December 31st, I am going to complete my It's Okay mantra journal. Accountability, responsibility. Because listen, y'all, you ain't gonna always like what people say. You're not gonna always like other people's perspective. It ain't your job to like other people's perspective. Hey, coaches. Hey, Jimmy, it's so good to see you. Oh my gosh, I just want to give you a big old hug. I miss you. It's okay, y'all. We're not all wired the same. Even people who you're madly in love with, they're gonna say some shit that you ain't gonna like because it's their perspective. Get out of your feelings. We're talking about radical acceptance. How do I just push out of this matrix? How do I push out of this maze that the world has gotten me in? You got to do something so radical. You got to change and shift your thinking. It's all in your mindset. So you have to believe that I will not always agree or like it, and that is okay. So I want you to create. I gave you some. Go back, catch the replay if you didn't get them all. But I just gave you some. Go and create your own mantras or mantras, however you want to say it, right? It can come from phrases. It can come from, your favorite quotes. It can come from your favorite songs. You can pull out some of your favorite lines of lyrics. It could come from religious texts. You can truly build them. And then you can't just say them. You got to believe, you have to create you have to create a physical movement with your body where you put them into action, right? That's what I'm doing now. I'm speaking these out because my body, my whole nervous system is activated. because this is the stuff that I believe in. And you can create your own beliefs where you don't have to allow this pandemic to rule you. Find your flow, move in your flow, and radical. Like, you need to move radically in acceptance of just what it is. It is what it is. This is what I be saying. And LaKendra, you cannot lose your power. You've worked too hard to get to where you are now. You have to regain your power back from low self-esteem. You have to regain your power back from having a low self-worth. You have to regain your power back from, just thinking that you are incompetent, because of my learning disability. All this shit, I had to regain my power back. So you think that I'm going to allow a pandemic to steal my power and my joy? No. And you shouldn't. Where in your life where you have regained your power back? It could be my client today was in a very, very bad wreck. And for 6 months, she could not walk. And she had to speak life. The doctors were doing what they were doing, but she had to speak life back into herself. She had to take over the resiliency of her body, of her mind, of her nervous system, of the whole composition of her body. And she had to believe. She had to have hope to walk again. And she came to me today crying over a man. I told her, girl, if you don't get all this shit together, I'm the same everywhere. I'm the same. It don't matter. Language the same. This is authentically who I am. I told her, we're going to get this shit together because you have survived. I know everything about your life you have survived. And you will survive this, honey. But because we have allowed the pandemic to swallow our power, to cage our power, we forgot how powerful we are. So I want you to move in radical energy and radical acceptance of what is it for you. What do you want your future to look like? You plan it right now. Don't be afraid. I'm gonna go book my flight because I gotta go to the Philippines. Like today, we're having our soft opening of our new location. The reason why they're having the soft opening, because I'm like, I can't be traveling out there right now because I don't have time to be quarantining for 5 days. So I'm not going to put that off anymore. I'm going to be there in this summer so we can have the grand opening of this amazing and extraordinary place that's going to save so many lives, right? So you do that for yourself. And I feel better now. I feel good. I got a lot of stuff accomplished today. Y'all keep moving in your flow. Keep believing in your ability to what? Create the life that you desire. And until next time, I'll be back with something else I'm inspired to talk to y'all about. So thank you for tuning in. Send me some love. Send me your biggest takeaway. And don't forget to share this out so somebody else can be blessed. Bye for now.